Alright, yeah, I got this Chinese jack here, and it's not junk. I mean, it's decent, but it's quite worn out, you know. All the fittings around the wheels and everything that holds it together is all worn out. You can tell by when I tilt it here. You see all the slop and play in that wheels there? Well, it's the same. It's the same with the jack itself. Jack it up here. It also needs fluid and probably a few O-rings and stuff. But you see the way that there, that's dangerous. So all we're going to do is we're not going to rebuild it. We're just going to sort of refurbish it. You know, bore out some of the holes and put bigger sleeves in it, or clad welder, or do whatever we have to do. But we're going to tighten it up, and then maybe throw some O-rings in the back. We're not going to throw a whole lot of money into it, though. You know, we'll fix it so it's safe, and then maybe give it to someone that doesn't have a jack, and even a handle. I don't know if you can see the handle here, but it's sort of bent. See down there on the bottom. So we'll straighten that out, and we'll just go over the whole thing, tear it down, repaint it, and make it good, and hope it holds up for a couple more years for somebody. So, alright, let's take it in the garage here, throw it on the table, and start tearing it down. Alright, I'll start here. We'll take the handle off. Yeah, a lot of people probably wondering why you didn't pressure wash and clean it up before you brought it in. Because for me, it's easier to just bring it in here, and what I do is I throw the small parts, like these nuts and bolts and stuff, in a little tin can there, and that not only degreases them, but it'll take the paint off. And then big parts like this, I got this 5-gallon pail over here with about, I guess, 2.5 gallons of gasoline and alcohol in there, and that'll not only clean that, but it'll take the paint off, instead of having to drag out the pressure washer and deal with that mess and have everything all wet. And you know, this is just a whole lot easier. You know, I mean, I got gloves on, so nobody's gonna get dirty. But yeah, another reason I decided to film this was so I know how it goes back together in case I forget something. So let's take that out. Watch the lights. Alright, here's something here too we got to replace. Right, they use a cotter pin here. There we go. They use a cotter pin instead of a bolt. We'll replace that with a bolt. Tighten that up. You can't really, well, yeah, I don't know if you can see the bend or not. It's pretty substantial. But we'll straighten that out. We'll throw that in the press. Alright. Let me throw you on a tripod, and we'll take a look at some of this. Alright. Yeah, I'm looking at the front end here, and it looks like at one time somebody welded this on here. A bad weld, you know, I mean, it's just a big blob and, you know, all kinds of turds hanging off it, but they must have done that just to try and stable it up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if you see that, but I don't know. I'd love to know what they did with this. Put this down here. You see how sloppy these are? These joints here. Look, even sideways and everything. You know. So we're gonna try and tighten that all up, and even here. And this side's even worse. You probably can't see that side, but that's even worse. And then up here. Let me turn yours up here. Let me turn your attention up here. I don't know if we'll be able to do anything with it, but hopefully most of the slop is in the side there. Let's see. Look at the play in that. So we'll try and fix that. What else did I see? Oh yeah, where you guys at? Like I said, I got you guys on the tripod now. Yeah, they must have had trouble with these wheels down here, because they actually put a blob of weld on here and a blob of weld on here, so like I say, man, this jack's been through hell, and we're just going to try and make it usable. Alright. Alright. And I just noticed it's missing a little shaft down here. That shaft holds it so it doesn't get stuck. Right now it's sitting on a table. And I guess so when you're pushing it, it doesn't get stuck. And another thing I noticed here is we're missing a spring here, a return spring. You see where it's just flopping around? That should go back. But like I said, I'm not going to spend too much money on it. You can buy them springs for I think $6-7, but and then I don't know what shit would cost. But I have some wire we can make a spring out of. So, alright, let's take this off and we'll take the front wheels off and go from there. Here's something I noticed a little sloppy too. On good jacks, that's pretty tight. That's easy enough to fix though with you know, shims or a washer on each side of that. So, just another thing to point out. Alright, got them unbolted. And now this should come right out. Here's one thing you gotta look out for. This here's a special pin that goes in here. It's got a flat. The only thing holding it now is grease, but it's got a flat on both sides there, so it slips into this little thing here. Might as well take that off too. Well, I'm gonna leave that in there until I empty this out. Take that out. Okay. I'll throw that in the bucket, and I'm gonna take this out and throw that in this little can here. All right. I was gonna take his gear out, but it looks like it's been replaced before, and they got it welded on. Actually, the only thing supposed to hold that on is a nut right here. You take that cotter pin out, this slides up, and then you take the nut out and it all disassembles. But I guess we'll leave it on there, right? It's taking it apart ain't gonna help anything. I was trying to take these wheels off. It's like it's just a circlip holding them on. Yeah, this axle here, the reason it shouldn't be welded, I understand why they did it. You know, they just want to tighten everything up, and they weren't fixing it. They just want to get some more use out of it. But with that axle welded on there, you can't really separate these two sides, and that's how you get to the piston and stuff like that. You might have been able to squeeze it out the back, or this, you know, but that's why they're not supposed to be. There we go. That's why they're not supposed to be welded. Okay, got a little meat there. I don't know if it's his bar that's wore out or the wheel, but whatever's wore out, you know, we can bore it to the next size. I'll have to look it over. Okay, there is a front and back to these. They're concave this way, and this way has a stud to hit up against the wall. Okay, let me get the rest of them out and then continue on. Alright, run through a little stumbling block here, but we'll figure it out. Here's let me put the light on for you. Right there is a bolt. That bolt actually holds it together. So I was going to take that apart. Before I did that, I was going to take the cotter pin out of here, and then the spring, you unhook the spring from in there. But this is riveted. This is part of this structure here. So on most of them, like this one on the floor here, that big bolt on the side is what they have instead of that rivet. So once you unbolt everything there, the whole side comes off. But this one's a little different, you know. I guess to save time and money, they just riveted everything together. So I'm going to take this bolt out and pull it apart and see if we can get to that stuff. Because usually, like I say, you can actually lift this up here to get the spring, but I can't get to it. Another thing I noticed, these wheels are kind of sloppy, you know. But when the weight is on them, you know, and they're tucked up in there, they ride nice. So it's the bolt there, and these are the ones that were welded on. And I was thinking just cutting that nut off there, but then I'm looking at it and I'm saying I wouldn't be able to get that bolt out of there because the wheel's there, and then this wheel is flush welded. You know, they just welded everything on there. So I think I might hit that with a grinder and just try and get the weld off and try and save that nut, and that way I could tighten it. So, alright, let's take these bolts out here and see if we can separate this thing. Alright, I got this bolt out from under here. Now let's see, I didn't take the other one out yet. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Alright. Okay. That'll come out of the way. Now, alright. Looks like I can take this pin out and get that out of the way. Then take this other bolt out. And this is actually, this whole frame here is held in with a circlip. So I'll have to turn this over on its side and take this out. Take this to get out of the way. And turn this on its side and get that circlip out of the way. Okay. Alright, we're making progress. Alright. I turned it on its side here on the other side. And here's the circlip here, so let's take this off here. Okay, that wasn't too bad, huh? Now that pin should fall out. Okay, let's take that pin out. Alright. Yeah, that little shaft was sitting aside here, that's why it wasn't coming out, so should come out now. Okay. Alright, yep, it's all falling apart now. So we lift it up on its side. Alright. So we got this whole one side out of the way here. And let's see why that's really loose. Okay, we'll deal with that later. Now I'm gonna wipe my hands off here. Back these up. Let me back these up a little bit. Oop, I think I went the wrong way. Alright. Alright. Now I'm gonna get this out of the way. We'll turn it on its side and we'll take this whole thing out. Remember, I'm doing this just as much for me as I am for you. This way, if I have any questions about how it goes back together, I got the video. Alright, I tried to get this bolt out over here, and here's the wrench I got. It's a 6.19 millimeter, and I don't know if you can see it there, but there's virtually no room at all to get in there. Let me put this light on for you here. You know, I tried to put that in there and it wouldn't go. Then I had this other 19 millimeter I had, and that wasn't going to work either. So I got the open end, and I looked at it and I said, there's no way to put the open end on there, but I tried it anyway, and the thing is just loose. Look at that. They never really tightened it, whoever did it. So you know what they say, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So what I'll do is once I get this off, I'll trim that down so I can get a wrench on that, you know. Even if you cut that off, you still have plenty of meat, but I'm just going to wallow it out a little bit, just enough to get a wrench on there. Alright, I thought you'd find that interesting. Alright, yeah, with both sides off here, you can actually get to the top of this now. All you gotta do is pop this spring right off, that'll jump right off, and then right here, the little titty sticking out, that's the other side of your cotter pin here. You pull that out, and that whole thing will separate from the block here. So let's do that and take a look at it. Alright, yeah, with this piston shut, this spring comes right off in the back here. There's hardly any tension on it, as long as you can grab it. There you go. Comes right off. And then when we go over here, we've got the cotter pin already bent it over. That comes right out. And now, let's see where you're at. The back is off. This back piece should come right out. This whole. Here we go. Look at that. Alright. I'm going to clean this up and look at it. I don't see. Wait, or do I? Yeah. I'm going to see how that comes out. See if you can rebuild that. If I can't rebuild this, and it's working, and we just replace a couple of them, then we'll put it back together. But if this is leaking, well, actually it doesn't look like it's leaking here. So, we'll see. So far it looks pretty good. Alright, just little notes from me. The spring goes in from the top to the bottom. Okay. Alright, yeah, we're about done here. But right now I'm filming this for myself here to see where all this is going to go back. Yeah, I was looking at this, and these here I'll probably just bore out. They're like a, let me take a look here. 0.625, that's 5/8. That's like a sloppy 5/8, so maybe we'll just bore that out to 11/16 and make new pins for it, and then I'll fix that. But I'm looking at this back here, and this here might be a little bit of trouble. This here shouldn't be too much. We could probably do something with that. But yeah, we got a work cut out for us here. But I think, like I said before, I think what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up and maybe put some O-rings in there and see if they'll stop leaking. Like I said, I don't know what we're going to do up here, but we'll figure something out. If nothing else, we'll make it better than it was, right? Alright, I'd say that's about enough for this, and I got a lot of cleaning to do, so what do you say? See you later? Alright, enough of this.